So we should be live on Twitch and YouTube now. So all the dedicated Twitchers and tubers, head on over. All right, let's do the darn gone thing. I'm trying not to curse today. All right, I got my social media manager, I had to rehire them. All right, they said I can't be cursing all the time, so I'm trying to do a better job. I'm trying. All right, so guys, welcome in to Sunday. I can't talk for real, Ren. I'm so tired. Welcome in, guys. Thank you so much for being here. As always, we want to thank you so much for your presence because you could be anywhere else in the world, but you are here with us. So we appreciate you and thank you. All right. Throughout the show, let's remember to do all the good things like tapping that screen, sharing the live, taking care of Ren, and also knocking out these gift goals. Doing so helps keeps us on the FYP so that we can have these talks with these MAGA supporters. All right. We appreciate all the love, the support, the encouragement, and the engagement. And we definitely do have a donation goal of $150. Yes, y'all already know. Today's price is not yesterday's price. There's that. All right. So we do have a donation goal of $150. If you'd like to support, the best way to do so is via the pay links. Everything with Erica is the name. Venmo and PayPal also have a Zelle. Just let me know how you want to go and we can make it happen. All right. Don't forget to take care of Rapture Ren, Nee Ray. Pay links are in the bio, Cash App, and Venmo. All right. So always show love to the hardest working co-hosts in these TikTok streets. Again, we appreciate you all so much for being here. Let's go ahead and get into it. We have YC. I don't know how to pronounce that. We have YC.
Yeah, the Y is a placeholder. It's just Kasani works.
Kasani? Okay. Hi, Kasani. Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
You did vote for Trump. All right. How old are you?
I'm 23 years old.
23? Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So you voted for Trump. All right. Can you tell us why you hate the elderly and disabled?
So I wouldn't necessarily start the conversation because I'm a genuine guy, right? I'm pretty tame.
That's
and
a
stuff
genuine
like that.
question.
So the reason I have an issue with that question first is I believe it's a straw man fallacy where it's an extreme example to try and automatically deconstruct my argument off rip. So I don't support hurting elderly people or anything like that. In fact, I want the opposite.
You want the opposite, but you voted for the person who literally had a plan that says that he wanted to cut government funding, and part of that government funding was actually reducing Social Security. And that's something that hold on one moment, sir. That's something that our elderly and also our disabled neighbors and the citizens of the United States actually depend on for survival.
Yeah, and I have a question for you to follow up with that, right? For that claim. Do you know if
I feel like we're going to keep asking each other questions back and forth. I just like for you to answer it.
100%.
Right? Were you what did you know about Trump's plan in regards to Social Security prior to voting for him? What did you know?
I mean, yeah, Social Security, we pay taxes into it. Everybody does, and it goes towards people who are retired.
Did I ask the question right? I'm sorry. I'm not asking you what you know about Social Security. I'm asking what did you know about Trump's plan for Social Security?
Yeah,
prior
so I know
to voting
his
for him.
Plan is not to get rid of Social Security. I think his plan was to figure out if there was any waste going on with Social Security.
So eliminating,
I believe we did find a little bit of waste as well.
They found waste. So if you spill the juice on the floor, can you get it back?
No, but you can prevent it.
Okay. So Ren, quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you heard of any waste that they found in Social Security?
Not any legitimate waste.
Okay, I thought so. All right, because what I've heard that Trump is doing with Social Security is that he wants to close half of the offices. It's about 54 offices that operate within the country, and he wants to close 26 of them. He wants to close 26 all throughout the United States. A lot of them in red states. With that way, making it harder for people to be able to access services and benefits. Because in rural locations, not many people have access to the internet.
There's one other part too.
Go ahead.
He wants to force people to no longer be able to identify themselves over the phone, which is once you add in the fact that you want to close 26 offices, especially in rural areas, it's going to force elderly and disabled people to have to travel outside of their own communities in order to get the services and help that they need.
And at times, Kasani, it was these are people who actually don't even have the ability to drive, making it even harder for them to be able to access these physical locations. When, he could just not be cruel and allow people to call in and continue to identify themselves over the phone like they have been.
Yeah. So here's the problem is that we can get into a debate on how, we can define what legitimate waste is. But from what I understand is that, and please prove me wrong on this, wasn't it true that there were over 100, like 1 million people receiving Social Security over the age of 100?
No,
that's not
okay.
true.
And I'm all for like, being educated. So I'll just ask is that, there's a source that way I can look at it and change my stance. That's all.
The age cap for Social Security is is it 107? Let me see here. I gotta make sure I got it. Because you can only receive it up to a certain age. So no one that's like 150 or 350 is receiving Social Security.
I believe that's how it's supposed to be.
No, it was a coding issue. It was a coding issue. It was a coding language issue. The coding language that the Social Security Administration uses is COBOL. It's obscure. A lot of those young people from Doge probably had no idea what COBOL was. So what happened was they read the dates wrong because they didn't understand when the information wasn't there, it auto fills in certain numbers, but that doesn't mean that the people were that age.
100%. So I can give a little bit of insight on this as well because I myself, I work in the computer science engineering field. So yes, there is a default number. When people get off Social Security, it's supposed to register as null, which means no value. Everyone who starts computer science at least receives a class in COBOL. So I don't think that's a very accurate assumption because I also learned a little bit of COBOL as well.
Then how would they not know?
Yeah. So the reason why is because yes, even though it does default to a certain number, that number is usually preset. So it's like 256 in binary and all that stuff to just default to that number. So the problem is that what about all the other numbers? How do we explain all the other numbers that it had quote unquote
what
defaulted
other numbers?
to? Because
what
I
other
believe
numbers?
It had ranged all the way up from 100 all the way up to 200 or 250 or 300, right? It doesn't default to that. They found that.
Okay, so can you get a source that says that?
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna let the other guy talk. It should only take me less than a minute to pull up that source and then we can review it.
What other guy?
Oh, that's you, Raptured. I thought your mic isn't lighting up, so I assumed that was maybe someone else in the background. Probably a bug on my end. So what essentially we need to prove now is that payments were being sent out under that because, I can grab you a source on it.
Please.
Okay, hang on one sec.
I was thinking that's what you did ask for, Red.
Yeah, it is.
You asked for a source. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. It's 115 years old. That's what I was trying to find the answer. Let me tell you something, Ren. I remember because someone was talking about the age and they were like, it's because I don't like, it was like, I don't like odd numbers. And they said that they remembered it, but they had said the age was like 103 or 107 or something. And so I went to go search it and I was like, no, it's not 103, 107. I knew it was a different number. But do you know how hard it was to just find that? Because you could typically like just enter in like oldest age to receive Social Security. Hey auntie, my auntie's here, yay. And it would just come right back. But now, do you know, like literally had to enter in the question, like, did a 350-year-old person receive Social Security in order to find it? It's crazy. I swear I think that man is suppressing information.
I don't think it. I'm willing to bet my bottom dollar on it.
Yeah.
SSA.
But it's 115 years old. Hold on, Kasani. It's 115 years old is how old the oldest person. I'm sorry, that's the cap on how old you can be to receive Social Security is 115 years old. And that's been the rule since September of 2015.
I agree with you there. I don't think we should ever take it away. The problem that I have is that SSA.gov had also clarified that there were indeed payments being sent to us. So obviously, majority of payments are going to legitimate people who are still
Okay,
alive.
so
but there
where's
still
the
abuse.
page?
That's not true.
Where's the
yeah.
page?
For Ren's point first.
Yeah, the page.
Where's the page?
Do you want me to put it in the chat?
No, you
Sure.
can just tell her she has access.
Oh.
Okay.
Computer.
Let me go grab it real quick and then.
Yeah, like they act as if we say that there isn't any fraud or abuse happening, but when it's less than 1% of the total amount that's actually being given out, then it's like, okay, let's just find pathways to actually reduce that amount instead of cutting entire programs. Let's just do that and hurting the people that need it.
If 5 people get Social Security falsely,
hold on one moment.
I don't care.
Hold on, Ren. Caitlin, thank you so much for sharing the live, love. I really, really appreciate it, but we do not like spam sharing over here. So, sharing it just a few times is pretty cool. So we appreciate you. Thank you, love. All right, go ahead, Ren. I'm sorry.
If 5 people get Social Security unjustly, I don't care, because the majority of people, first of all, Social Security is not even enough money for people to live off of.
That's true.
It's not, especially with the fact that rental prices are rising higher than the cost of living adjustments that Social Security provides. So you have a bunch of elderly people and disabled people who cannot afford to live on their own. So if 5 people get Social Security unjustly, and just like if feeding kids means that kids whose parents make enough money to feed them gets food too, I don't care. I don't care.
According to our researcher, Nikki, shout out to Nikki, that's Nikky, it would actually cost $10 million to recode the system, but they haven't paid to done it. So with all this money that they're supposedly saving, wouldn't it just be easier to announce that they're just taking the $10 million to recode the system?
It's not necessarily that easy. Yeah, you can.
Now it's not easy. Oh, see, that's the problem.
Well,
There's
no,
always something.
No one ever said it was easy. The problem is that there's a lot of moving.
You just said that it's not that easy, making it seem like someone did say it was that easy.
Well, you said to recode it.
Yeah, but then you just said that it's not that easy. And then you just said no one ever said it would be that easy. I'm very confused.
No. So it's not going to be easy to overhaul an entire record system with information that sensitive. I mean, it requires migration, new updated systems, all that stuff goes into place. It takes months to set up, especially on the scale of the government where millions of people rely on.
So what would be the problem with actually doing it then? What would be the problem? It'll be just like if a company of over, let's say 500,000 employees were getting a new operating system. You still have to go through the same process. You still have to go through the process of integrating everyone into the system. So creating that information, you have to deal with the rollout process. Like you'd have to do all of that still, just like they did when they had to roll out the ACA and everything. So it would cost money. So why wouldn't they just do that part in order to help reduce the future waste, as y'all like to call it? Why wouldn't 100%. They just do that?
So because whenever you're migrating that much data, it's very, very vulnerable at that point in time whenever it's being transferred to a new database. Because a new database would have to be built, and not only just recoding, it's not just coding it. You need a database, you need servers, everything like that.
Would they have to actually then go ahead, Ren. I lost my train of thought.
That all sounds like excuses to me.
That's what I was saying. It doesn't make sense. Like, why aren't they doing it?
Why hasn't anybody done it? Why has it been the same?
When I don't disagree with that point, but the point still stands. Instead of trying to rip people's benefits away from them, if you genuinely want the change that you want, instead of harming people, you can get that change by doing something like recoding the system.
Yeah,
no one said that it would be easy. I don't think it would be easy. No, I don't think anyone here, even anyone without any knowledge of how these things work, would think that it'll be simply easy to redo an entire system. But if they want it to be more efficient, then it's something that they're going to have to do, or else it's going to just continue to be a talking point for people on the right.
100%. And I don't think the problem necessarily lies in the code that it was integrated in. The fact of the matter is, regardless of what the number nullifies to, and like I said, the article.
Rand, it's on wheels.
If the yep. If the oldest age that somebody can receive these benefits is 115, then that means that nobody was receiving benefits over 115. Exactly. What the hell are we talking about?
Exactly.
Excuse my French. What are we?
You said that people over the age, you said that people like 150 or 250 were receiving benefits. And I'm like, that's crazy, because like when you think about it, didn't Social Security start in the 1930s and the first checks went out like in the early 40s? So I'm trying to figure out who's these 150-year-olds that's receiving payments. Because if I do my math right, because y'all know I'm not the best with numbers. And so I use my fingers sometimes. So if I carry the 1 and then I put the, if I carry the 2 and then I take the 1. The math isn't mathing.
Yeah, so a good example to correlate this to is like the whole Wells Fargo scandal back in the late 2000s, right? Where agents were incentivized to create fake accounts for their own monetary benefit, and nobody realized until years later that accounts were created under people's names. So I feel like that's what might have been happening. That's a theory.
Who?
But there's no
because
other reasonable explanation.
That's not waste. Right? That's not waste and fraud on the part of the system. That's waste and fraud on the part of a person.
Exactly, on the part of the employees.
I agree, which is why I think
they shouldn't be handling the employees.
And Trump said himself that his agenda do not cut off any programs that directly benefits Americans themselves. So
but he's already gone against that. He's already gone against that. He's already gone against that, darling.
Who has lost Social Security that you're aware of?
Losing the ability to identify over the phone. What do you think happens if you cannot identify yourself?
Then you can't. I mean, you should be able to identify yourself. I mean, are you saying there's not enough resources not available?
No, I don't think you understand. So what's happening is that he's removing the ability for people to call in and identify themselves. They now have to either do it online or they have to go to a physical location. And so what's happening, the roadblocks there is that there are people who do not have access to transportation. They're physically unable to actually make it to an office. And then also in the more rural parts of the country, those people do not have access to the internet. The cables or the fiber optics just aren't laid. They don't have access to the internet. Also, he's cutting federal grant programs to where people, services that were helping these people, like in West Virginia, there's a service, and I'll get it for you in just a moment, that was helping people with transportation. They just lost $1 million grant that was going to help, and they don't have the money to actually dip into their own coffers to actually get people to the places that they need to be now. So they're no longer a resource for people. So it's a domino effect. And so what Rand is saying is that he's taking away the easiest ability for people to access their benefits and information. Without that, many people are going to go without said benefits. That benefit is Social Security. You're going to hear a lot of stories about people saying, oh, what are they going to say? Do you qualify for Social Security? They're going to say yes. Well, are you getting it? They're going to say no. Well, why aren't you getting it? I can't access it. I can't talk to anyone. I can't get to anywhere. And whether you believe it or not, unfortunately, in society today, a lot of people do not like asking for help. Rand, does that cover it?
Mm-hmm. Because when people discuss DEI, there's a letter that they always forget.
Yes, A.
The A.
Forget A. Yep, accessibility.
They always forget the A. And for elderly and disabled people, because you have people that can't use the internet. A lot of elderly people genuinely do not understand the process of using the internet. And I say that because every day in my 9 to 5, I deal with elderly people and I end up having to do things for them because I will literally try to walk them through how to sign in and do the different things that I need them to do. And they're like, Ren, I'm just not good at computers. Can you just do it for me? And I end up doing it for them. So it's going to hurt people. And just because Trump said that he's not going to hurt people, he's a liar. If he tells me the sky's blue, I'm going outside to check. That's simple.
Yeah. And I wanted to kind of touch on a point that you made earlier, Host, whenever you said that the grants were being cut. So Trump didn't necessarily demolish the department. He reassigned each individual thing to different departments. So the grants were specifically delegated to the Department of Treasury. The Department of Treasury.
I'm sorry, you said he didn't necessarily cut what?
He didn't necessarily deconstruct it. He assigned different tasks of the Department of Education to other government agencies.
I'm not talking about the Department of Education. I'm talking about Social Security.
You mentioned grants and stuff like that, like $1 million.
I'm not talking about the Department of Education. I don't know why that.
Grants are in every facet of the government, darling, not just the Department of Education.
Are still going to be managed by the Department.
No, they're not.
They're not. But Nikki is one of our subs, so she did want to come up and ask you a question. Hey, Nikki, how are you?
I'm good, love. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for being here. You have the floor.
Thank you for having me. Kasani, I'm Nikki. I'm above you. I just had a couple questions. Do you think that the people that are on disability and Social Security right now are the ones that are taking advantage of this system?
I don't think anybody on disability or Social Security is taking advantage of it now.
Okay, so if they're not the ones that are taking advantage of the system and they're the ones that need the help the most, don't you think that something more productive would be to look from the outside in? Like look from starting out and do like they've done audits, they've done things like dismantling everything and taking a wrecking ball to it is not the way to do this. So I'm gonna look. I'll show you who I am. I don't have an issue doing it. I'm right above you, white woman, live in a freaking red state, and I am on disability. I have been for over 10 years. Oh God, it's probably more than that now. Jesus Christ. I can't go into work. The issue that I have is chronic pain. And there's some days I can't get up. And now he's wanting us to go into the office to verify IDs. He's trying to take away telehealth, which is going to the doctor by health insurance. Okay. He's also trying to take away working from home, which is how a lot of us actually get, any kind of income. Our income barely covers anything. Like I don't make my bills every month, just for the record. And I have a son that I take care of too. It's not the people that are on these programs. These are the people that need help the most. And what he's doing is literally cutting off a rope. It's literally like people are hanging on and just cutting the rope off. And I want to tell you, I'm the first one to tell you that I called Schumer's office and everything and told them to shut the damn government down. Yeah, it's going to affect me. I'm not going to get paid. I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to anything. But the other side of this is that I'm not going to survive, and neither will thousands of other people, including veterans and children. Like everything he's doing is just hurting the most marginalized people in this country. I'm all for auditing. Do I think the government's corrupt? Fuck yes, I do. Sorry. Yes, absolutely I do. You don't need to spend $800 on a toilet seat. Yeah, I do. But this isn't the way to do it. This isn't the way to look at your neighbor and say, you know, you don't need to eat today. I'd tell you right now, I would do anything, and I'd give Ren food, I'd give Erica food, I'd give anybody in here my last thing if they didn't have it. I don't care if what way they voted, because I care about them. I would give it to you if you needed it.
Yep.
But
And
the other
so-
side doesn't see it that way.
Speaking of the grants, thank you, Nikki. We appreciate that. Thank you so
You're welcome.
much.
I love you. Ren, can
Love
you
you
go
too.
into Discord? I need your favorite colors, please. I'm working on something for you. I love
that's
you.
nice.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, Nikki.
I
Y'all
love
draw
you.
some hearts in the
Thanks,
chat for
Nikki.
Nikki.
Kasani,
Y'all.
just think about who these things are hurting.
Exactly.
When you see him put something up, just look at who it's aimed towards. That's it.
Exactly.
It
It's always
isn't
gonna be
aimed
the most
towards the
marginalized.
people on the top. And Musk is doing it too, just for the record. Musk is mad at his daughter and is now going after trans people and putting a target on their back, and he's helping them.
Yep.
Whether you agree with it or not, just look at who it's affecting. Okay? That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, I'll
Thank
look
you,
into
Nikki.
that.
Okay.
Y'all show some love to Nikki. Drop those hearts in the chat. Drop those hearts in the chat. And this is what we were talking about earlier. As Nikki was saying, is that basically the things that he's doing are going to hurt the most marginalized of us. All right. And so like McDowell County out there in West Virginia is what I was speaking on earlier in regards to the program. It's called the Commission on Aging. Is actually a nonprofit that receives funding from the federal government to help senior citizens get to and from medical appointments, to get to the grocery store. It's a transportation service is what it is. And they also run, hey, Miss Gina, they also run like a senior citizen community like center. It's in a double wide. It's something that they run in a double wide. It's a rural area. All right. And around 30% of that population in McDowell County receives Social Security benefits, and 20% of them lack broadband access. I mean, they lack internet access. They don't have access to the internet. All right. The gentleman who runs the Commission on Aging did state, what's his name? Reed. Reed did state that last year they had to dip into their own savings to pick up to cover any funding gaps. They said this year they're not going to be able to do that, and that they are in fact losing a $1 million grant that he expected, and it is because of federal government cost cutting. All right. And so again, grants aren't just the Department of Education. Grants are all throughout. Grants are in housing, grants are in transportation, grants are in of course schools, grants are in farming, grants are in small businesses, grants are in for college, so higher education, grants are even for sports. Like you receive grants for almost any and everything in this country. Research, thank you, Rutabaga. So yeah, research and development. They even have construction grants. So like, Kasani, we're not talking about the Department of Education here. We're
Yeah.
talking about Social Security and how Trump is doing things to actually make it harder for people to access their benefits.
And so while I can see the concern, guys, it's just hard for me to have, because you guys asked me why I voted for Trump, right? I want to factually discuss what has happened. I mean, we can speculate that everyone's going to lose their benefits, but that lady came up here. It looks like she's still receiving her benefits. Even though all these changes are happening, she still hasn't lost those benefits.
Did we ever say that everyone's going to lose their benefits?
I mean, not necessarily, but I mean, we're speculating, not really diving into what has happened before.
Hold on. No. See, the fact that you think we're speculating shows that you obviously don't listen to elderly and disabled people. Because if you listen to them, if you listened to them, you would know. Hold on.
I mean, I think I have a pretty good understanding.
I don't think that you do.
Because we
I
can't
don't.
necessarily say that they're going to lose their benefits when they haven't. I mean, we could say this for the next 3 years. I mean, where are we going to go with it? You know what I mean? It hasn't
Oh,
happened.
we have to wait and find out, right?
Yeah, but what if it never happens then?
We have to wait and find out. Okay. So we know that we know what happens when you shutter physical office locations, right? People don't have those locations anymore to go to get help, right? We know what happens if you make doing something online a requirement, but I don't have internet access and I don't have access to internet, then what ends up happening, Kasani?
And I
They
closed
call in. I mean,
he literally, and no, you can't call in because I forget to mention, I say that you can't call in anymore. So there's that part. You can't call in anymore.
Yes, you can.
You have to go. No, he literally said that he's removing the ability to identify yourself via phone. We are literally telling you that's what he has done.
So if I call,
I don't think that you're listening to us.
To identify.
I still actively see it on the website. That's what I was doing.
To identify. To identify.
I agree with that policy.
So why do you dislike 100%. Elderly and disabled people?
It's not that I dislike them, but however, you have to also look at the fact that, again, in my space myself, and you guys can attest that old people, elderly, get taken advantage of quite a bit. And it's not that easy. And I've seen it myself to replicate.
Welcome in, Tashika Raiders.
Socially engineer.
Thank you so much for being here.
For information.
Hold on one moment, Kasani. I'm getting a Tashika raid, which is friggin' fantastic. Welcome in, Tashika Raiders. If you aren't already, by all means, please follow me and send your daily heart me. Also, show love to Ren I Am. Shoot her a follow. Also, that's Raptured Ren down at the bottom. She's the hardest working co-host in these TikTok streets. We thank you so much for being here. All right, go ahead, Kasani. You were saying something.
Yeah. So with all the scam calls and all that, is it really the best option to have somebody identify themselves via SSN over the phone? Would it? I mean, yeah, they might have a more troubled time getting to the office, but I think to prevent the amount of fraud and stuff that happens.
Hey, Kasani, are you able-bodied? Are you able-bodied?
I am.
That's that privilege.
So you have a very privileged take on this subject.
Not at all.
Because no, you absolutely do. You absolutely, with 100% certainty.
Of the elderly before.
Taking care of an elderly person or taking care of somebody with disabilities is not living with it. You are speaking from a privileged place. Because even with somebody, I don't even think you fathom the amount of things that someone has to think about when they are elderly or disabled.
I have a very, and I don't know why these assumptions are being made. You don't understand.
No, you don't. You don't live with it. So you don't know. I'm not telling you what I think, Kasani. I'm telling you what I know. As a person that lives with a disability, as a person that is a wheelchair user, as a person that has to think about things like being able to call in, to do telehealth, to do all these different things. You do not understand what you are speaking about. It is going to harm people. I am not telling you what I think. I am telling you what I know.
Not the immediate teacup. Maybe they didn't mean to be here.
So Rapture, I want to ask you then, via, again, I'm not sure if you know what social engineering is, right? Or phishing and stuff like that. Happens every...
I'm aware of phishing attacks. I'm aware of the scam calls that scammers can do, where they can make their phone number look. Yeah, where they can make the phone number look like it's from somebody in your contacts. I am aware.
So is it worth the risk of putting those people versus just going into the office maybe a couple times?
The point is that what you're not getting is accessibility. People do not everyone has the means or the accessibility, the access to actually get to a field office. And then also the other part that you're not understanding is that Donald Trump is choosing to close 26 offices, 26 field offices. All right. That means that the location for someone has gotten even further away.
And they call in the Social Security. Social Security don't call them.
Don't call them.
They call in. So if you're calling in, how are you going to be scammed if you're calling the number?
Exactly.
Because again, let's say I'm a bad person, right? And
no, I'm not doing that. No. Tell us how people are going to be able to access these physical locations when they're even further away and they already have issue accessing the one that's already closed that Donald Trump plans to close. If I have to go over the locations again, I will. Kasani, I will. I definitely will. Because we had to do that yesterday because as politely as possible, y'all don't believe shit stank until it's in your face.
Yes, and the point I'm trying to make here is it's actually better for security and integrity to do it that way. Because the reason it's in place anyway is because of things like that happen.
Okay. I am trying to extend grace to you.
Okay, I see your point.
I am
they
going
can't access
to
it.
say,
They have disabilities. It's not easy for them to get there. I understand what you're saying, 100%. But you also, I'm not expecting you to agree with my side. At least see that there is still a risk of elderly people.
But that risk exists
theft
regardless.
Happening. It will decline.
That issue exists regardless. It exists no matter what.
Because Ren, has he come out and said how they're going to combat phishing? Has he
come
out? No, he hasn't said that. All right, has he come out and said how he's going to combat the scam text messages and the scam phone calls?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. But no, let's close offices and let's make people go into the office to verify themselves, or even so, let's make them go online when many of them don't have access to the internet. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, and
yeah, let's do that. Let's do that instead of actually combating the issue at hand here.
And it's hard to contextualize it unless if you've actually dealt with those elderly people who have had
no. It's going to be worse. It's going to be worse because here's the thing.
Going in people are worse?
Because here's the thing. Now they go in, they verify their identity, right? But then somebody calls and says, "Hey, I didn't get all your information from you, but we can just do this over the phone."
My God, it just keeps getting worse.
Okay, so
it just keeps getting worse.
Because the thing that you have to understand about scammers, baby, everything you do to combat them, they just get smarter.
I know. Oh, that's a good question. So Mr. Ty actually has a good question here. Jamie, not yet, but Mr. Ty says, why should the Social Security Administration identification be any different than credit cards and bank companies identifying yourself when you call them? Why should it be any different?
100%. So banks are not federal agencies, right? Whenever I call,
it's dealing with money. So why should it be any different? Is the question.
Because and considering that most banks are insured by the FDIC, so that argument doesn't hold water, sir.
100%, right? So I agree with what you're saying. So your question is then, right? Why don't you go in person for banking related stuff? Why can't they verify you over the phone?
Why can't the Social Security Administration verify people over the phone?
Because myself, for everybody's security, you should never give your SSN over the phone. The banks will never ask you for a full SSN, and to correctly identify you requires a full SSN. Most banks will only ask you for the last 4 digits, or have some other way of verifying a personal device of yours that way. So but it still gets bypassed.
What is it called?
Way, right?
K something. Ren, do you remember that that identification method?
Two-factor authentication.
I don't know. I have no idea what you just said. What did you just say?
two-factor authentication? We had to
No,
take
it's
two
not
steps?
two-factor.
Okay.
Not even just that. Usually you have to
I'll find it.
enter in your social security number in the automated system first.
If you voted for Donald Trump, go ahead and request up. All right. Go ahead and request up. I'm looking for it because there's something that you can do. It's based off of your consumer report information. Everyone has a consumer report. All right. I can't remember what it's called. It starts with a K, but it's basically, it asks you questions like you used to own a vehicle. What was the year, make, and model of the vehicle? And then it'll give you like a list and you choose the year, make, and model of the correct one. It'll say you used to live at this address. And then you choose the correct address that you used to live at, or it'll say none of the above. All right. I can't remember what it's called right now. Someone will know, but they simply can
I know
do
what
that
you're
also.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
The credit consent form or something like that, where it asks you credit report related questions.
Yeah. It starts
Yep.
with a K. Can't remember what it's called,
100%.
but that's what
And
it is. I know,
I'll-
Chris. It's not security questions, but thank you. Thank you for trying. But yeah,
So
it's
again,
a type of
the
identification.
problem is that, again, if
They
a
can do
very bad
that.
person,
They probably do that. Like,
it is actually, that's probably easier in my opinion, because you can, if you have somebody's address, it's pretty good to assume that they didn't live in a whole different state or something like that, versus the questions are
knowledge-based questions. Yes, thank you. It's knowledge-based questions.
but they're generalized,
Right.
they're not specific questions.
Those are specific questions. What are you talking about? It would literally say that you used to own a vehicle. What was the year, make, and model? And guess what
Exactly.
happens?
And what I'm
It will
saying
have the
is,
vehicle. Is that not specific to the person?
yeah, but you're assuming that somebody who is
If it
going
says
to
that you
commit an
used to
act like
live
that
at
doesn't
this
already have
address, if
that.
it says you used to live at this address, and it has the address that in which you in fact did used to live, is that not specific to you?
Yeah. So can I respond to your question?
No, actually, I don't want you to, because you're circumventing everything here. You're trying
Because
to go
I
around it. It
understand
does
how
not
it
make any
works.
sense.
I work in the field. I specifically do
No, you
cybersecurity,
don't.
computer science. Do you want
No,
me to
you
prove it to
don't.
you?
You don't
Do you want me to
understand how
prove it
you
to
don't understand how it works. Because if you understood how it worked,
You
you would
wouldn't say that it
understand
wasn't specific to the
risk
person.
analysis, and
It
you would
is.
understand risk analysis.
That's literally a part of the field.
But you wouldn't have said
But
that
you
it's
act like it's not.
generalized. Hold on, Ren. You wouldn't have said that it was just generalized, because no, it's not. Knowledge-based questions aren't generalized. They're specific to the person based off of the information that they have provided.
Yeah, and here's the other problem with that, right? Is Social Security isn't really the federal government cannot use that as a means to verify through a credit report, because that's not really associated with them as a means to verify anyway.
What are you talking about?
So your credit report, correct?
I said consumer report, but go
Consumer
on.
report, your credit report. The federal government doesn't really manage that kind of thing. Therefore, it's almost impossible for them to reference that information without requesting a credit report from the bureaus. So they would have to pull your report, know what questions to ask you.
KBA is what
They
it's
would-
called. That's what it's called.
They would use, first of all, I'm going to tell you something. Not necessarily. Have you ever heard of LexisNexis?
I'm not too sure on what it does though.
LexisNexis is essentially, they compile your credit, your any type of
It's a consumer report.
court cases, your consumer, they put all your information in one database. LexisNexis, when I tell you they know everything about you.
That's how, if you owe people money, if you owe them people money, that's how they be finding you, because they be using skip tracing via LexisNexis. Just want to let y'all know, as a former collector.
100%.
100%, Ren.
So let me ask you this. Is it worth the time whenever you call in for the government to then pull your bureau to then figure out those questions for you and go? Wouldn't it just be easier to go online, since there's only 8% of the US anyway doesn't have internet access?
What's to stop somebody? So what's to stop somebody from going and knocking on elderly people's doors saying, I want to do a roof whatever inspection, and then identifying via
Time out.
their access?
Time
Go
out.
ahead.
Flag on the play. He said that the government wouldn't be able to use KBA, which again is knowledge-based authentication, because it comes from your credit report. That is absolute BS. That is
that's
BS.
on the phone for them to pull your report on
they
the phone
do
on
use it on
demand.
the phone. Why would they have to
They
pull
do.
your report over the phone? They're using knowledge-based information. And yes, the government does use KBA. They use it. They use it for identity verification. So yeah, there we go.
I already knew
they
that.
use it.
But
my God, federal agencies like the Social Security. I love when I learn new things in real time because y'all get to see the excitement. Y'all get to see the excitement because like that's what we do here. I don't claim to know everything, so I'm gonna learn some stuff in real time. All right. The federal hold on, sir, we're not talking to you yet. Federal agencies like the Social Security Administration use KBA to verify the identities of individuals seeking to access online services. So they can use this information.
But have you read that they're also phasing it out as well? Because I understand that they used to use KBA, but they're phasing it out.
Where are they phasing it out? What report was that? Where'd you read that at?
Let me get.
He hasn't gotten one actual report.
He hasn't given out their source yet. Richard, did you vote for Trump?
No, I did not.
Oh, you didn't?
But I do have an answer to your question.
All right. I'm sorry, what question?
You're what you're talking about right now. I'm currently on Social Security disability. And when you call into the Medicare number, 1-800 number, they do ask you for knowledge-based information. They do not go for your Social Security number. They tell you not to. The only time pretty much Medicare will call you, will get a hold of you is by mail. And everything's knowledge-based, like your mother's maiden name, your brother's middle name, just knowledge-based stuff that they already have in their information when you apply for it, because all that stuff's dumped in as soon as you receive it as well. Because years ago I had to pay child support, and even child support can't get through the Medicare information. Everything's knowledge-based because you can't just go off of my first dog name was Puppy. It's all knowledge-based. So I've been on it for going on 3 years now. So what they're doing, what my understanding is that what Trump wants to do is they're going to shut down a lot of the Social Security offices local, because that's where you're told to go to your nearest Social Security office. That's what you're told to do. Phone is only in case, if you have to, or if you're disabled for whatever reason. But they generally tell you to go to the office, because that way you can actually show your true identification to that worker there. So what this gentleman's saying is incorrect. They don't do nothing with your credit reports. That's all. Medicare it's like Fort Knox. Your information is locked in there, and it's hard to get information from any outside source. So that's my experience with it.
Yeah, and Richard, to add on to that, federalnewsnetwork.com, NIST, and the National Institute of Technology and Security, says that they're phasing out KBA in replacement of two-factor authentication. So they're going away with the KBA.
Well, let me ask you this: one, where'd you get your information? And
Federal
two,
News Network.
Okay, so is the Federal News do they work for Medicare? Because from my last letter I got from Medicare, my last information, there has nothing been even told that it's in the process of being done. The only thing that's what I'm saying. Everybody goes by reports. By reports and all.
How would you use? How would you use?
Go ahead.
Hold on, I got a question. How would you use two-factor authentication if a person doesn't have a cell phone and they don't have an email address?
Because if you have a landline, you can still receive a verification phone out of that landline.
If you have no phone, no contact, you're told by.
But wait.
By Medicare.
So you can identify via phone? How?
He said he's removing it from phone.
It's a private. They have your number. They verify your number. They ask you the question.
No. The thing is that Trump is removing the ability to verify by phone.
I understand that, but I'm telling you, it has not even been done yet.
It's as of March 31st is when it's happening.
Richard, we are aware. We're aware. Thank you. We are aware that it is coming. It has not happened yet. The issue that we are discussing here
Uh-huh.
is the issue that we're discussing is the fact that by removing the ability to identify via phone for elderly and disabled people, it is going to cause harm.
Exactly, because it's to cause harm for me too. I'm a heart patient, so it's if they cut off my phone privileges to get information, I then have to get in my car, or most elderly people don't have that luxury, and you go to your nearest local office. That's what Trump is trying to do. So that way, that makes it harder on the elderly, because your elderly that don't have the luxury that we have of having a vehicle and driving to an office, that's what's going to cause harm. And
what if you can't get in a car? What if you can't get in a car? What if you're in a
That's what I'm trying to
wheelchair?
explain to you. That's what I'm explaining to you.
Hey,
Darling,
darling, you're not explaining it to me.
We
Oh,
are.
well,
We're
let-
just
let-
saying, Richard, is that we already
yeah.
know.
Yeah,
It'll
you're not
it's- and
explaining
we're
it to me.
just we're all three of us, you, Richard, you, Ren, and I, we're all just repeating the same thing now to Kasani. But we want to thank you so much for coming up, Richard. We appreciate you. Y'all draw some hearts in the chat for Richard, y'all. And you take care. And we
You
can
too.
only hope that, shit, I don't know. All the stuff that Trump is doing is just pretty much, it's just cruelty at this point. All in an effort to save money, to cut waste. All right. So he can pay for his, his tax plan. That's all there is to it. Look at the bangs, Rand.
So can we jump back to KBA being phased out?
Yeah, I was looking
Because
for that
that-
article.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab it again real quick.
They're growing out some.
They are, and I'm gonna let them grow out, but then I'm gonna be like, ooh, I like the bangs, I miss them. I'm just gonna get my hair braided. Moving on. If you voted for Donald Trump, by all means, please request up. Oh Lord, not the forehead. It's a 5 head for me. All right. If you voted for Donald Trump, request up. All right, let's have a talk. Let's have a talk. All right. All right.
Oh, let me do a mod announcement real quick.
Okay.
All right, you guys. There is 267 people in here. Why are we only at 63.5 thousand likes? I need you guys to be tapping the screen. I have not heard Erica say thank you one time yet. I don't understand what's happening. So I need y'all to remember that putting on this show, it's a lot of work. It takes a lot out of you. So make sure that you tip your waitress. Make sure you do that.
I'm like the best waitress there is.
Yes. Make sure that you guys are absolutely taking care of Erica, because she does this and it's a lot of work. And I need you guys to do that. Make sure that you're sending gifts. The penny gifts help keep us on the FYP. So even if you can't send a tiny diny and all you got is 5 coins, you could always send 5 roses.
Well, guys, with that being said, here's the deal. All right. You got to show TikTok that you want to be here. I'm just going to be upfront with you. All right. So let's tap that screen, share the live, take care of Ren. The more active participants you are, the more the ops come in. All right. Drop your MAGA calls in the chat. Ren's going to do her MAGA call in just a moment. Let's pick up the energy because singing, Kasani, whatever, is draining. All right. So, guys, let's do the darn thing. All right, guys. Show love, show support, the encouragement, and most definitely the engagement. So let's get this party started. All right, we got like 25 of the tiny dinies to go. Let's go ahead and knock those up out of here. All right, I know we can do that. All right, also $150 is the daily goal. Haven't gotten anything. We've been on for an hour. I think that's insane. But is it the first no, it's not the first of the month. What? It's 23rd. All right. So everything with Erica is the name. Pay links are in the bio. Venmo and PayPal also have a Zelle. Also, be sure to show love to Nee Ray, aka Raptured Ren, the hardest working co-hostess in these TikTok streets. Cash App and Venmo links are in the bio. So let's just do the good things, guys. Ren, do you mind giving the audience a MAGA call?
Here, MAGA, 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 MAGA. Here, MAGA, 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 MAGA. Sweet, sweet. Here, MAGA, 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 MAGA.
Exactly. All right. So If you have a MAGA loving cousin, uncle, brother, it could be a sister, it can even be your mama, it could be an auntie or a play cousin. You know, play cousins counts too. All right. A step brother, step sister, sister wife, a cousin, a kunkle, a cousin. It doesn't matter. Just, you know, share the live with them. Tell them to come on over. Share the live, but do not spam share the live. Do not spam share the live. All right. That pushes us down in the algo. We don't want that. We want people to come in, not go away. All right. Thank you. We appreciate you all. All right. So y'all keep doing the fantastic things. Keep doing all the good things. All right. So we can go ahead and get back on the FYP and have these talks with these Trump supporters. All right. So Kasani, all right. Did you find the name of the article? And I'm gonna type it in on my fact finder machine here and we'll look at it.
Yeah, hang on one sec. I dropped
Sure.
it twice. Let me go back to it. All right, federalnewsnetwork.com. NIST, the National Institute of Technology, are going to phase out KBA, and this was written in 2024, in case anybody wants to say it's a partisan thing. And they're phasing it out and replacing it with two-factor authentication.
So is just this agency or does this apply to all agencies?
Well, the idea is that KBA, as I
Where can I find
said
this
earlier, it
article?
was too early. It's too easy to bypass because a hacker will more than likely have your email with your car make model and which you make. They have your whole life through email, which is the first thing that they go for, which is how they begin doing everything that they do.
How would they have in my email what car I owned 10 years ago?
Because you make payments on that vehicle, and assuming
And
again,
everybody
and
doesn't.
you have to pray that the KBA doesn't ask, or does ask. The odds of it asking that, you don't know.
What?
Because the KBA is not a set group of questions. It's different questions each time. So to say that
Right.
it's going to ask, in fact, it's probably more likely to ask you
can't
more
find that
recent
article.
things than older things.
I have not found that to be true. You may be right about that, but I have not found that to be true.
Still post?
Yeah, I can't find the article. You said the federal, what is it? I'm gonna type that in.
Federal News Network. NIST issues digital identity, and then you should hit enter and it should pop up because that's what I went to find it again.
Is it the issues digital identity update?
Yep.
Okay. 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 So it's to offer the phishing resistant multi-factor authentication. All right. It's to offer it. I'm trying to see where they say they were getting rid of KBA, or as the government likes to call it, KBV, because the government is still using Smart ID. You know what Smart ID is, right?
I signed up for it when I went to go check my IRS. Yes.
All right. So you know what the Smart ID is. So they're still using that. So I don't.
That is a form of multi-factor authentication.
Smart ID also uses the KBA too. So it
On
uses
the
both.
initial sign up, sure.
Does
But
it
I'm
not
not
use
too
both?
sure.
Does it not use both?
Well,
Doesn't
I
it-
don't know
no,
that for a fact.
stop. Please stop. For the love of God, stop. I no. Basically, I'm in reading this article. It does not say that it's phasing out KBA. It's saying that it's putting multi-factor authentication as another option. All right. So it's using both. It's not saying that it's not going to use KBA.
Like I would rather use multi-factor
God,
authentication
Jesus.
instead of knowledge based.
He keeps missing the point, Modesta. I hope I said
Yeah.
your name right. He keeps missing the point because he wants to be the smartest guy in the room.
Well,
It's a supplement. A supplement.
I-
What does supplement mean, Kasani?
KBA wasn't sufficient enough.
Kasani, no, love. Love, please. What does supplement mean?
To add on to for a benefit.
Oh, okay. There you go. There you go. So in addition
I don't know
to,
why
oh
that
God,
was
it must be something in the air. I swear, must be something in the air. So, Jay voted for Trump. Jay, first things first, you're not going to do any trauma dumping on us today. All right. We don't want to hear any of the sob or sad stories. Okay.
I just want to say that
No, I don't want to hear what you want to say right now. I'm just setting a boundary with you right now. Okay. Okay. All right. Kasani, let's reset because I started to feel like this part of my neck, all right, get a little hot, and I was like, I'm getting irritated. And I don't want you to irritate me. All right. So with that being said, let's reset. All right. You said that you work in tech. That's what you do?
I do.
Okay. Which field is it?
It is specifically network engineering.
No one gives a fuck. All right. Shout out to Jamie for using her monthly kick. She's been trying to use that damn kick for like the last 30 minutes. Shout out to Jamie for using her kick. Put some hearts in the chat for Jamie. That's Jaymie. Whew. God, I need therapy. I need therapy. I don't know what's happening here, but I need some therapy. All right. I'm gonna go. I need to see the lady. Okay. I need to see the lady. All right. So Jay. All right. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to tell us what you came to talk about today. And then we can talk about why you voted for Trump. Go ahead.
I just want to say thank you. You're awesome, and it was good to see you again. That's all.
I don't like it.
Well, why?
Because I don't like collecting ops. No one asked you to come here and be nice.
Like, don't be weird about it. I just
you don't be weird about it.
All right. Well, just because I called you a nice person, doesn't mean you have to be like
You're
mean about
making
it.
it weird.
Now you're
Stop
making
making things weird all the time.
Eventually.
Jay, why do you hate children?
I love children. I mean, I got 11 nieces and nephews, and I got even godparents of 3 of them. The best part about children is that it makes you the best version of yourself.
The hell it does. With that being said, Jay, I have a question for you. All right.
Don't drag me on. Go ahead.
Why'd you vote for the guy that said he wants to close the Department of Education?
Department of Education is an unnecessary attribute for what it was spending. For what it does is a different category of making sure there's attainable goals back and forth, vice versa. I mean, you can look at different states like Mississippi and Florida or San Jose, California, right? So there is definitely certain stipulations that need to be applied with that. So do I agree with that 100%? No, but I also know that I drive 5 miles across town and I see over 100,000 square feet of government property that has nobody there. And I've serviced those buildings.
What they got to do with Department of Education? That's called real estate. All companies have real estate.
They're carving out waste of money, but if you're paying for the real estate and nobody's there, how does that make you feel?
How about they can actually just sell the real estate? But I don't see the relevancy here. What does that have to do with the Department of Education? Because that's what we were talking about.
And that was the weirdest part. Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. That was the weirdest part. Is people were talking about, Elon Musk, he's doing this, he's doing that. Do you realize how long government contracts have been going on? They've been going on back to Rockefeller and properties and things being built out and leased and written off. It goes back to Bill Gates after that. It goes back to Mark Zuckerberg and then Elon Musk. So people to bring it up now is pretty much an atrocity of showing your ignorance, of not understanding the fact that Jeff Bezos and all of them have already been doing it for the whole time. But look, I just wanted to say I love you, and I
have no idea what you're even talking about right now.
I swear I was so confused, and I was just
Jay,
about to
what
say,
the hell were you going with that? You were like all over the map with that one, buddy.
Look,
what? What are you talking about?
There's always government contracts that are handed out, and there's companies that definitely deploy it, right? At the end of the day. So I just want to tell you I love you. You're the one that brought me in here.
I didn't bring you in here. You requested, and I let you up. I hate when they lie like that, Ren. That really bothers me. Also, I just listened to Drea. I got him up out the paint. All right. I'm trying to. What was he talking about?
I have absolutely no idea.
We went from the Department of Education to real estate to tech billionaires. That was weird. Weird. Sometimes I wonder if everything's okay at home for Jay. And then
I think he's missing his
2 seconds.
He's missing his significant other.
Well,
The
he
one that
shouldn't
can't
have
get
voted
over
to
here.
keep her in Chile then.
Pretty much. Pretty
He
much.
voted to keep her in Chile. That shit's crazy. All right, I haven't done these in a while, so I guess I'll just do this right here. Oh my gosh. The majority of the Durango Department of Education funding is spent on Pell Grants. All right, so helping kids that are going to get access to higher education. We live, baby. All right, so that's We live, baby. Is that Dayton? Thank you, Dayton. We live, baby. We live, baby. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, it's crazy. We live, baby. Thanks, Drea. So yeah, if you voted for Donald Trump, by all means, request up. All right, we only got about an hour left of being here. So push your we live, baby. Y'all knocked that out fast. Thank you. Thank you. All right, if you want to go ahead and request up so that we can have these talks, I want to have an actual conversation about something. Somebody come up here and stand on business. We live, baby. All right, somebody come up here and stand on business. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. There's no need to be. All right. There's no need. Also, this not this time, but next week Sunday, I'm going to be doing something awesome. I'm going to be getting into my interview bag. All right. So I don't want to say bag. I'm going to say hat. I'll put my interview hat on. All right. And we're going to see what happens. I'll tell you all about it. The Discord, of course, is going to know first. So the loves, you guys are going to know first. So just be prepared. I think I'll drop that around Wednesday. And then I'll start promoing on Thursday for it. So we'll see what happens. Yep. And most definitely double OO. That's a lot of O's. Is it 4 O's then? Yes, but please do show Ren love too. Raptured Ren, E-Ray is the name. Ren, is this gonna be our do you think we should have to do a restart? I really don't want to do a restart.
I mean, if you want ops, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the only person that keep requesting
is the guy that's
person that can't. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't come in here no more, Axel.
Yeah.
You're not welcome. I'm about to go jump on Johnny's panel or Polly or something. I don't know shit.
I mean,
and actually, I don't even need to.
That.
I mean, I can get ready early. Oh, I can get ready early. Because I'm going outside because like a flower, I have to bloom.
I mean, if that's what you're going to do, go for it.
I told him. I told someone that he called me corny, and I was like, "You like it? You like it?" I don't think they do though. Sucks. Anywho, I think I'll do a restart. How did you know it was Axel? Because it's always Axel. That's why. What's up, Ren? All right. I'm thinking.
Do you want to do a restart, or do you
really?
Well, do you want to just go get ready?
Because our time slot is so niche. That's why I chose the time slot that I chose, because it's like it's so in the pocket. You know, it's in the pocket. Yeah, he lives in the request. He never leaves either. He just lives there. He's hoping one day that I'll make a mistake and let him back up, but nah, it's not gonna happen. Hey, Shannon. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. So there's that.
I don't understand. I wouldn't want to be somewhere where people didn't want me.
Well, obviously he does. He does.
Obviously.
I'm trying to think. What do I want to do? Drop a 1 in the chat if you want us to do a restart. Drop a 1 in the chat if you want us to do a restart. I'm gonna see how many ones we get, and then I'll go from there.
You already know the answer to this.
Cha 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 cha. The ops have been so damn boring lately. It's just I only got 14 ones. That's not a lot. It's 200 people in here, only 14 ones. That's crazy. Yeah. Who told you people that a TikTok raid would make Democrats look good? What the hell does that even mean? I really feel like you should just come over here and like explain what you mean by that. What does that mean?
That sentence made absolutely no sense.
It makes none
Not even a
whatsoever.
little bit.
And they're always scared. They always kitty cat too. They never want to come up. Always kitty cat.
Mhm.
Always. They have no testicular fortitude. Is that what the people say, Rand?
Mhm. They have
35,
no.
that's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough.
That ain't even half. And for some reason, our viewers are going down.
Yeah, because
I got more Mazda in here. Let me see. Hold on, wait. I can't even. I'm not.
Chad, everybody have your roses ready, Chad. The target is 4. Everybody rose, y'all. Everybody rose, guys. Everybody rose, Chad.
Right now?
Eventually. No, not right now. I said eventually.
Oh, you said eventually when I was in the middle of the sentence saying right now.
Yeah, eventually. I don't want to do it now. No. All right, we're back on Twitch and YouTube. So fantastic Twitchers and tubers by all means. All right, come on in. All right, well, welcome back. You know, like things like that. All right, so I mean, it's only so much that we can say that hasn't like we've already said it before about like the Department of Education and how Donald Trump and it was like earlier, all the things that he wants to do is hurting marginalized people. All right. When is he going to do something that's actually going to improve the quality of life for people?
Never. Because that's not the point.
I know. And I don't understand how the people don't recognize that though. Like they can't come up here and say anything that Donald Trump has done to improve the lives of everyday Americans. There's nothing that they can say that he's done because he hasn't done anything to do so. His tax plan initially gave them a small increase, but then slowly but surely a small decrease in taxes, but slowly but surely people started to see their after tax income go down. All right. So they weren't bringing home as much as they once were. All right. He botched an entire pandemic. Like the response to the pandemic was awful, threatening, and also actually withholding darn going aid from blue states was insanity. When he's supposed to be the president of all of the United States, not just the ones that agree with him. So I think that was pretty bad.
I agree.
And what else? What the fuck? He's just done so much. Like openly saying that he has a list of enemies that he wants to.
Did you hear? Crazy. Did you hear that he started going after law firms that have brought suit to the federal government, and he started to go after them using the DOJ.
But didn't he say that Biden was doing lawfare? Every single accusation is an admission from this guy. Like he's literally projecting.
And then Pam Bondi essentially threatened Jasmine Crockett.
I'm sorry.
She basically said that Jasmine Crockett said that we need to take Elon down. And she's like, well, if you're inciting violence, and she may want to be very careful.
Wow. That's crazy. George Stephanopoulos had to pay $5 million to Trump. No fucking way. Are you serious? I believe it too.
Yep. From ABC News. He went ahead and settled. He probably could have. Basically, the way they got him was he wasn't charged with grape. He was charged with SA.
Oh, he used the rape.
And because he called him grape.
Okay.
A rapist.
Okay. Wow. He misspoke, and there you go. Yeah. Oh, Donald Trump. Yeah, I am still on here. You're using capital letters too. Do you want to come up and talk about it? Do you have a problem with us still being up here? You and your 82 followers?
Who is that?
Skippy.
Oh, I don't
know him. Her. Him,
I don't know him either.
All right, but they were sent one request, so that's all it takes. Because this is not a safe space for Trump supporters. All right, y'all are real kitty cat because y'all always yapping in the comments, but y'all never want to come up here and express y'all feelings. So there's that part. Oh, look, we got one. You got that dog in you. You got that dog in you.
Hell yeah.
You got that dog. All right, you got that dog in you.
Absolutely.
All right. So tell us. I have a question for you.
I'm a veteran. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Okay. So why'd you vote for the man who wants to dismantle the Department of Education? Do you hate children?
Because I absolutely hate children.
You do hate children. Okay, understandable.
I do hate children.
I mean, at least you're honest about it.
Yeah, I cook them.
Nothing better
dinner.
than honesty.
I just cooked 2 children in my oven just about an hour ago.
Oh, so you are a cannibal?
I I ate them. Yes, with a little
Oh,
ketchup.
are
it's
you
not
admitting
bad.
to a crime?
Give it a
Like in
shot.
front
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like
I
150
ate 'em.
people?
Yeah, I ate them.
Dude, guys, who's gonna get his? Is Phil here? Where's
use
Phil
ketchup.
to get
It's
the
really
IP
good.
address?
I gotta tell you though, man.
Where is
I had to
Phil
use
to
some
get the IP
dental
address?
floss. I had to use dental floss to
Did
get
you
the
have some
bones out
nice
of my
Chianti
teeth.
with it also?
This is so weird.
It's such a weirdo. Absolutely weird.
I'm playing into your stereotypes since you're all
Absolutely
racist.
weird. Well, I wouldn't say that Trump supporters are cannibals.
Right,
I think
right.
that's
Wait,
crazy.
wait.
Nah, you're all
Hold on,
all
stop.
racist.
What stereotype, by the way?
Yeah.
Racist.
Oh, all the stereotypes.
Explain that.
Absolutely.
Explain
He said
racist.
Racist.
He said we're
Hold on.
racist.
I'm
Explain
eating
that.
babies. I'm eating babies.
Explain
Have
that.
we mentioned anything about race?
Not one.
Eating
Okay,
babies.
I was wondering.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
See, I hate children.
It's possibly
I hate
that
children,
he's
so
not tracking the
Department of
conversation.
Education-
I don't
Department
think
of
he is.
Education
I
wasn't
don't think he
needed.
is
It was-
either.
It was bloated.
I
It
don't
was
think that he's
bloated,
tracking it.
and it needed
either. I think
it
he
needed to
is
be
on something.
removed.
I think he's on
Yep.
It's going
something.
to save a lot of money. It's going to save a lot of money.
Yeah. I
At
think
the
he's
expense
on
of
save-
children, but whatever.
Millions. What? How? How is it
At,
going to
at the expense of children,
children?
because let's be real, in red states,
No.
they already let's use a state like Oklahoma, which is 49th in education right now, even with the Department of Education. Do you think it's going to
So-
get better once you remove the ability for them to?
So it was failed. It was failed with the DOE, right? No.
Let me finish my sentence, please. Thank you. All right. At the expense of children, because the whole reason that the DOE had to come into play is because states they cannot be trusted to do the right thing. They can't be
Well,
trusted.
I actually think that the best thing to do in these types of situations, Ren, is to actually establish a foundation. And establishing the foundation would be, does he actually know what the Department of Education does? So still, man, you can unmute yourself and please answer that question. All right.
No, you muted me, so that means you don't want free
Oh God, I didn't mute you. A mod muted you. Hey, Maz,
Well,
don't
the
mute
mod-
him. Thanks. All right. See, I told my Maz not to mute you. Okay, boom, there it goes. All right. So still, man, please tell the class. All right. What does the Department of Education actually do?
It didn't fund education. It didn't fund teachers. Didn't fund their supplies.
We asked
It
you,
took
what does
money.
it do?
What did it do?
What does
funded,
it do?
It funded Weinberger there for her foreign national trips, going to Ukraine twice, going to Africa, going to Spain, going to Italy.
Oh my God,
It paid
those
for her
conspiracies. I don't
vacations.
listen, sir. Aluminum
No, it's
foil
not a
is very
conspiracy.
expensive. I don't feel like
Those-
putting on a tinfoil hat
Those are
tonight.
trips she really made.
All right.
Google the trips. Google the
So
travel.
please do
Hey.
tell
That
us
go
what
to
does the Department.
education.
Okay, so you don't know what the
I'm
Department of
schooling
Education
you
does.
here. I'm schooling
That
you.
you
He
don't know
doesn't.
what it
He
does.
doesn't.
You are
Okay,
getting
you know, sir, it's
schooled.
okay.
I absolutely do.
Sir, it's
I know what
2025.
DOE
It's okay to
does.
say that you don't know. I promise. It's
No,
okay.
I know what DOE does. Do you know what's
Oh,
Okay, then
thank you
what
so
do they
much,
do?
Rahel, for the $5
Shut
for
up.
the aluminum foil fund. All right.
So
thank
what
you
do
so
they
much.
What do they do?
You tell me what they do.
And
Why,
so
No,
why
no,
are you
no.
asking me?
Drop,
It's
Shouldn't
hold
for
on,
you know?
y'all.
you.
Hold on.
You
Drop
don't know
some
what
heart-
DOE does?
Hey, I said hold on.
You
Drop
don't know
some
what
hearts
DOE
in the
does.
chat for Rahel. All right, drop some
You
hearts
don't
in the chat
know
for contributing to that
what
aluminum
DOE
foil
does?
fund. That was funny.
Funding special programs.
Oh, God.
They tried to fund that, but they usually use it on vacations.
Funding special
do.
programs? What special programs?
Yeah. Mhm.
What
What do you
special
think?
program?
You tell me.
I don't know.
What
You
special
said
programs?
it. I want you to
No,
tell
you
us the
tell me.
programs. Because I feel like
You're
this,
the
this,
expert.
this is going to be good for the class. This is
No.
good for the class.
You're the expert.
You're demonstrating
Why?
what you know.
Why are you asking a question with a question?
No, you're demonstrating what you know. You're
No,
saying
no.
things, but you don't
Oh,
have
I
anything
know.
to back it up.
I'm waiting to see
So
what
I want
you know.
you to be able to tell the class, you know,
You don't know.
what you know. What special
You don't
programs?
know.
What special
You
programs?
don't know, do you?
What special
What
programs?
special
No, I don't know.
programs?
I don't know. Remember, I said it's 2025. It's okay to
You
say you
don't
don't
know.
know. What special programs?
So
Please
you
tell
don't-
us.
You don't know. You
Tell
don't
us.
know. So the DOE is unfunded. It's going to save billions of dollars. Billions.
What does the DOE do?
They take money from taxpayers and they spend it on things that don't have to do with education, like vacations.
What are they supposed to do then? What is the purpose? What are the things that they should be doing at the DOE?
What should they
I'm
be
going to
doing at the
support your
DOE?
delusion and go ahead and go down. What are they supposed to be doing?
Well, you're
Hey, they're asking, can you turn your TV down some? The background noise is getting to people. Did I freeze? I ain't freeze.
No, you didn't freeze.
Okay. I just want him to tell us what they know.
I mean, I already, and shout out to Trisha. Thank you, Trisha, for the donation.
Drop some hearts in the chat for Trisha. No, I hate when they skedaddle. Come back still, man. Gotta skedaddle.
I knew he was going to skedaddle because
What is he talking about?
I asked the.
Just talking, saying nothing, saying absolutely nothing this whole entire time. Made no sense. Nah, bruh, you came back to demonstrate what you know?
No, I was just going to ask that guy if he doesn't like the DOE, what alternative does he have? Because we've already established I voted for Trump, but I actually see a purpose of a general government oversight of education, just not how it's currently constructed.
I'll be honest, I don't remember our conversation. I just remember the name, but not the conversation.
No, I don't think the Department of I think the Department of Education's a failure, but I don't think it needs to be completely dismantled. I think it needs to be completely revamped. So I don't agree with closing it down, but there needs to be a major overhaul.
How is it a failure? But how, okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm asking you an honest question. How is it a failure if it has done what it's supposed to do? All right. It was never meant to set curriculum. It was never meant to be involved in the everyday aspects of the classroom. It was basically to set a guideline for equality and equity.
Yeah, its main purpose, the main reason of its conception was to hold states accountable for civil rights.
Exactly. And
right.
it's done that
but
for the most part.
But it hasn't done it. It hasn't done it well enough. If we're going to fund something and we're going to have a federal organization,
how hasn't it done it well enough?
I have to be careful how I word this so we don't get flagged by TikTok, but it was created mainly for the Jim Crow era schools or states with their schools. That was the main purpose for it. But a lot of those schools and those states are still at the very bottom. So if it's all it's done is help protect kids get a terrible education, then it hasn't done enough.
That's not the job of the Department of Education, though. That is the job of the state itself, the state's Board of Education.
Right. So why do we have a Department of Education that's too?
Again, it's like oversight.
Yeah, it needs to do more. That's my thing. Completely overhaul it.
Then you wouldn't have voted for Trump then. Go ahead, Red.
Okay. Think about what you're saying, though, right? He's not discussing overhauling it.
No, I know.
He's not discussing. Hold on. He's not discussing, because if you really wanted to improve education outcomes, then we should actually have a national curriculum. Most of the countries that we tend to say have these great educational outcomes, first of all, they tend to all be homogenous. I think that's the word, homogenous.
Oh,
but beyond being homogenous, a lot of those have a countrywide curriculum. It's not every state operating as its own individual country.
Right. And I actually somewhat agree with a nationwide curriculum, somewhat, but because we are so vast and we have different industries in different states, there has to be some autonomy left to the states. Like I agree with some of what you're saying. Like, I don't think the government should legislate what people do in their bedroom. I don't think the government should legislate what people think, but I think there needs to be some, because we don't have enough quality in our STEM education, right? That's the next frontier. AI is the next frontier. We need to be ahead of that. So we need to invest in that, but we also don't have enough people who do the work to keep the country running either.
Is your main thing, you want the Department of Education to actually set curriculum? You want the Department of Education to push certain types of programs, certain lessons? Like, is that what you want to do?
I want the Department of Education to actually produce a functioning member of society. When kids get out of school, they don't know a lot. So yeah, I do.
That's not for the Department of Education to do. That's like you thinking that humans aren't autonomous beings.
No, I'm
that's
saying
crazy.
people should learn. Like, there needs to be a baseline, right? There needs to be a base level of education that's taught, especially in the beginning years, first, second, third grade, right? They need reading, writing, arithmetic.
They already have
all of
that.
Right. But then there needs to be more. Why don't we have programs for kids to get into the trades that we're already in a deficit on?
We already have that. That's the state.
And not
Because
even
of the
just that,
states.
because we do not fully fund education. That's
Exactly.
the answer. We do
fund
not
sports.
fully fund education.
They do fund sports. That is true. But that's my point. If you're going to have a Department of Education, have a Department of Education.
But states' rights. That's
They can supersede some of that.
But here's the thing. You're saying they could concede some of that and actually do what's best. But a lot of states, like Oklahoma, like Mississippi, like Alabama, they would absolutely not allow for that to happen. And their children are a lot less intelligent for that. But they don't care.
But
They don't care.
I look at, like, it doesn't necessarily, like, you can't always equate what success is in education to like a test score. That's always been my biggest problem with a lot of the standardized testing, because you can have people in industries.
I'm not even talking about.
No.
I'm not even
saying,
talking
like,
about standardized testing.
No,
Mm-mm.
I'm saying,
I think
like,
standardized tests are idiotic.
right. And you can have people that are successful that wouldn't necessarily show that on a transcript. And there needs to be autonomy for that. But if you're having states that are woefully underperforming, Oklahoma, West Virginia, Mississippi, like those states like that, then there has to be some intervention. Otherwise, what do we have it for? That's been my biggest question with and like I said, I don't believe in dismantling it and having nothing to fill its place. But I also don't think it's been successful with education in this country as a whole.
Well, here's the thing. It's extremely successful depending on what state you're in.
Well, yeah, because some states prioritize differently than others. Absolutely. That's absolutely right. But if you look at it, right, there's a middle of the road state like Utah that's actually has a very successful industry in Utah. And I mean, it's anecdotal with some of that, because you have certain states like Texas has, a lot of industry with oil and gas where you can get jobs, with barely having a high school diploma, and other states, you don't have that. Like, for example, Massachusetts has a really great education system.
Massachusetts is also one of the wealthiest states in the nation.
Right. And a lot of theirs is STEM technology, right? They invested heavily in that. They already have MIT and a lot of the Ivy League schools there. So they have that footprint. But why can't they take some of that?
You want the Department of Education to do something that it wasn't meant to do. That's the problem. Also, you got to think about the 10th Amendment. All right. So for states' rights. So you have to think about that. And then also you have to think about what the person that you voted for stands for. He wants these things to go back to the state. All right. So was this something that you thought about prior to voting for Donald Trump? Like, oh, he wants to close the Department of Education. It wasn't something that he kept secret. He talked a lot about it.
No, he talked about revamping it, maybe.
He never said revamping, love. He said that he wanted to close it.
Yeah, come in with something different, closing it down and come in with something different. I actually agree with, because like I said, I don't think it's working as it's currently constructed. But there has to be a plan, and right now there isn't one, and so I am a little.
Bruh,
concerned
you're
about that.
twisting. You're twisting words, though. You're twisting words. You're painting it as if Trump said that he was going to come in and revamp the Department of Education. That's not true. He said he wants to close it down. He wants to get rid of it. All right. So he wants to get rid of the oversight. He's not talking about getting rid of the funding now. All right. We'll be that clear, because he wants to move the funding for Pell Grants to the Small Business Administration, and he wants to take the funding for special
HHS.
needs
Yeah.
and send it to HHS.
Right.
All right. So he wants to do that. But the oversight, ensuring that the states are doing what they're supposed to be doing, he wants to get rid of that part. All right. And that is a problem, because one of the main functions of the Department of Education is actually investigating civil rights abuse claims.
Correct.
Right? Ensuring that these schools are not discriminating against children with disabilities, discriminating against, I can't say discriminating for some reason, against children, marginalized communities, such as not just Black students, but also Hispanic students, Asian students, transgender students, queer students. All right. Yeah. Even Title IX. He definitely wants to get rid of Title IX. All right. So, like, nah, bruh. Come on. Make it make sense. Like, was this something that you were aware of prior to voting for him?
Yeah, I knew his plans for completely the DOE as it currently constructed, doing away with it.
Bruh.
I'm for that.
Okay. One moment. So, Beth.
I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you pretty well. What would you like to say?
The things that are being talked about on this podcast. Okay, so Trump is, doing the Department of Education and stuff like that. It is all explained that he is going to be funding through different things, which the free food and the breakfast and the lunch is through agricultural. The Pell Grants and everything like that is through Treasury. And then the IEPs and anybody who has funding through that is through Health and Administration. So what are we talking about?
Did I just say that, Ren?
Mm-hmm.
I just said that, right? Hey, bruh. Did I just say that?
Well, I just came on here.
I did just say that. And then also I said that the main thing is that Trump wants to get rid of the oversight. He's keeping the funding.
So the oversight,
right,
of the
but
federal
the oversight
has
part
been
of
sought
it
through,
actually
they are
is going
being
away.
corrupted and all
Where
that
we
other
won't
stuff. So it
have
should be through
the ability to ensure that these funds are being allocated in the way in which they should be. He's not going to be able to allocate. What do you mean exactly?
So everything that he is debunking through the Department of Education, which they went from 14 to 80 billion.
Did she just say
and the
debunking
students,
or defunding?
Debunking, defunding, all that stuff. Like
debunking and defunding are different things, dear.
It's really not.
It is. Debunking there's different
because
things.
What he hired Elon Musk.
Hey, Beth.
Yes,
Beth.
honey.
Why are you yelling? Why are you yelling?
Ren, I don't care about
Am I
tone,
yelling
please.
or am I talking into a
No, I can't hear her over you. I can't hear either one of y'all because y'all talking over each other.
Listen, Beth, here's the thing. All right. We do care about how the funds are going to be allocated, because what they want to do is they want to give states block grants. All right. A block grant is a lump sum of money where they just give it to you and they say, here, do what you will with it. There's no oversight for this. There's no one saying, okay, oh, well, you made sure that 30% went to special education. You made sure that this 20% went to investigating civil rights abuses. Oh, you made sure that this 50% went to low income schools. Like, there's going to be no oversights. So the states basically can say, well, we want 90% of our money to go to schools in this area. And this area just so happens to be affluent. I hope you know what affluent means.
To me in Michigan, To me in Michigan,
Do
I
you
have no vibe
understand
that's
that
a
the
half
oversight
hour.
is
No,
being
I
missed?
do. I live in Detroit, Michigan, where the school funding is corrupt. Okay, so I live in Detroit. I have a son with an IEP. I have all these things. Okay, so for me personally,
Shout out to Emmanuel. I don't know who just did that, but shout out to Emmanuel for the 5. He said, why can't MAGA see that the attack on the Department of Education is to segregate schools, enforce religion, and attack
it's
access
already
to
been
education? I'm
segregated,
reading and I'm
though.
talking.
It's already been
Please be
segregated.
quiet,
Why
Beth.
are Georgia
Beth,
schools being
Beth,
taught certain languages
Beth.
and Dearborn schools are not?
Beth, I don't know if you have a problem with hearing or not, or if you just have an impulse control problem. But when I'm reading off a donation from a viewer, you be quiet, like Nabra is being quiet. Thank you. As I was saying, why can't MAGA see that the attack on the Department of Education is to segregate schools, enforce religion, and attack access to education? This has been the GOP mission dated back to Reagan. Each Republican president has put steps to attack education ever since. Very, very true. Very true, Emmanuel. That is very true. And I don't understand why they don't see it. They don't see it because they think that it won't affect them, but it will. Y'all drop some hearts in the chat for Emmanuel. Drop those hearts.
So
We are 140.
Reagan's.
Hold on now, bruh.
Oh, sorry.
We are 140 to go. 140 to go. Pay links are in the bio. Not Cash App. Venmo and PayPal also have a Zelle. And don't forget to take care of Rapture Ren. Nee Ray is the name. Pay links are in the bio, guys. Thank you. All right. So yeah, Beth. Actually, I don't want to hear what you have to say. What were you saying now, bruh?
And Reagan did a terrible job with the DOE, and then the No Child Left Behind was an unmitigated disaster. Like, that was terrible.
As seen as proof today on this panel.
Well, that felt like a personal attack.
It wasn't towards you, nah, bro. Damn.
Oh, okay, my bad. But
he said, I took that personal.
Yeah. No, because I actually think that there needs to be, like, procurement needs to be a big thing in education, right? Like, if you look at the military budget, the DoD budget, the majority of that is for procurement, which is developing and getting the best technology, the best equipment. We need to have the same mindset with education.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that was possible with the DOE as it was constructed. So while I agree with Trump's stance on getting rid of the DOE as constructed, because I don't think it was beneficial, I don't think it was working, there needs to be something to replace that. And I would like to, I'm hoping that there is a plan that comes out. There's a concept maybe somewhere that will shed some light on that, because there needs to be a replacement for it.
Okay. Nabra.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't disagree with you, right? I don't completely disagree with you that something should be done, right? However, how does moving all of the functions of the DOE, and keep in mind that a lot of the people that work for the DOE are experts in the field of education. Mm-hmm. They are experts in it. So by moving it to HHS and moving things to the Small Business Association and moving things to all these other places where they are already probably woefully underfunded and they're already trying to get rid of so many people, what is going to happen? What are going to be the consequences of those moves?
Generally speaking, when you have a major overhaul like that, you're going to have a lot of mistakes being made. You're going to have misallocations of funds. You're going to have things that fall through the cracks. Like, there's going to be some mistakes with that for sure. There's just, I mean, like I said, I voted for Trump, but I'm not Trump no matter what. I agree with everything. Like, that's not how I operate. But
she did leave.
There's going to be some mistakes made in that for sure. Now, I think part of the reason they're moving the things like they are is because you can't get rid of the DOE without Congress, right? And there's enough of a Democrat block or a Democrat minority to put a block against that to just go through and do it unilaterally. So they're going to try to move things around to basically, like you said, right, to basically close it down. That's why Linda McMahon's in charge, not because she knows education, but she knows business.
But our education should not be ran like a business.
Parts of it could be.
No. Educating our children should not be a business.
Well,
It is not a business.
Maybe we're meaning different things. Like you say, it shouldn't run like a business. I'm saying there should be aspects of it. Like, why can't there be in every first and second grade classroom in America a deal with Microsoft, who's an American company, to have Xboxes and things like that, so kids can learn with Minecraft and tools like that, right? So they're actually using their brain, using their imagination, getting stimulated, and not just staring at a whiteboard behind a desk and expected to be quiet for 6-7 hours a day. Yeah, I saw the comment in their Xboxes. Yeah, no, Xboxes are a tool. That's what I'm saying. Procurement.
But that requires funding.
I'm all for funding. I voted for funding my local schools. I voted to pass a bond measure that passed. We're an 80-20 district, and we voted 80-20 for Trump, 80-20 for the school bond.
Okay, but you voted for a person that wants to dismantle the things that are going to provide and make sure that children in all states have access to comparable education. You voted against children having that.
I understand the procurement part of it, being able to actually access certain types of technology, all right, to improve the learning for students. I actually do understand that part. However, I would say that that's not what you voted for. Because the reason why I say that, Nabra, is because what you voted for basically was the complete opposite of what it is that you want. And I think we went over this last time, if my memory serves me correctly. All right. You voted for the person whose one of his main talking points was getting rid of the Department of Education. All right. He never said how he was going to improve it. He never actually said what the other alternatives were. He said, I'm going to close the Department of Education. I'm going to shutter it. That's what he said, with nothing else. All right. And you have a lot of thoughts on this matter. So what it tells me, and you also have a lot of ideas on how to better the Department of Education. So that tells me that you did put some thought into it. So that's why I can't make sense of why you actually voted for Trump on this matter. Like, what was another reason that you voted for Trump?
So with that, if you get rid of the DOE as it's currently constructed, right? Because we've already gone over that. You now have the pathway to do something radical with it. Now, whether or not Trump or the Republicans do that, I hope they do. I'm hoping my vote counted for that, right? But if they don't, then there's a way for Democrats to message back the other way. And if you actually connect with people on education, I believe a lot of people in this country would be more connected on education than just about anything else. Because I know a lot of people don't agree with a lot of curriculums, right? If you had something that was radical enough to like actually unify people, well, there you go. But I mean, like I said, I live in Texas. We're going after school vouchers. Like, I don't like that. That's not a good idea. But one of the biggest pushbacks on school vouchers is due to athletics. People are upset that it's going to mess with their football.
Hey, Emmanuel.
How you doing, Miss Erica?
I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
I was chilling. I'm actually finna make some chicken here in a second, but like this guy is just a walking contradiction. Like,
very much.
It's
So.
actually it's driving me crazy a little bit because you're here in Texas, right?
Me?
Yes, sir.
I am. Yes.
And you mentioned the voucher programs and whatnot, but like, I don't get you understand. You're not really grasping the whole situation. What you're saying sounds somewhat logical, but it's also contradictory. But what Trump is saying is not what you're saying. These two things are not the same thing. You're having hopefulness that he like replaces it, but he hasn't presented any plans on what he's gonna do when he tries to dismantle the department. He's blatantly trying to dismantle it. You stated yourself he can't do it, and he's still saying he's going to do it. And I'm just confused on why you're justifying it. Like, it makes no sense.
because I don't think the Department of Education is up to the standard of what it needs to be.
We all
as it-
agree with
as
that.
it is.
We all listen. We all agree with that. But the solutions that are being stated aren't what Trump is saying. He isn't providing any solutions. You literally said he can't unilaterally close it, but he himself is saying he can. So like, where's this line of like logic is
So
missing?
he can't do it without Congress, right? The Department
No,
of
but he
Education.
himself is saying that he can.
Right. I mean, what he says and what he does are two different things.
But
Like,
then why are we doing this though? Why are we saying washing insanity? Do you see what I'm saying? Like there's no time in American history has this ever even been justified. Even with Reagan, how crazy he was, he never would just like say, I'm gonna bypass congressional support. Reagan was just going along with trying to see if he can get enough get enough votes with Congress. So like, why are we justifying a guy saying I'm gonna unilaterally do things? That's insane.
I'm not sure. Like, I get what you're saying, but I'm not saying that I agree unilaterally with everything that he does or says.
That's not what I'm saying though. But why did you? What I'm trying to understand is why are we saying washing insanity?
I don't have an answer for you there. I think there needs to be radical overhaul. And like I said, if this gets the platform set right, where now you can have, if someone comes in and runs on it, actually making a noticeable change with it, I think that can be a pathway to an election for someone. I mean,
Hear you on that, but do you know within this 4-year frame how many kids' education is going to be messed with because of that? All for hopes of a change.
Hey, do you understand how many special programs for kids with disabilities, learning, behavioral, depend on federal funding to actually operate? Because these kids, they don't thrive in the general education classroom. They need
yeah,
these
it's like
specialized.
85%.
Yeah, they need these specialized schools
Right,
in order to
absolutely.
actually. So, like, but what I'm saying is that, like I mentioned earlier, they want to give them block grants, all right, and just tell them, here's some money, all right. There's going to be no oversight for this money is going to be the issue.
See,
All
I
right, so
actually
then the
think it'll
states,
be
it's a
different.
no, it's not going to be different. What? It's not going to be different.
I'm
I'll find it
sorry to
for you.
interrupt. Yeah, go
ahead.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just.
Can I actually show
I
you
have a
like
question.
Apologize for that.
Go ahead, Ray. My fault.
No. How do you feel about the state of Oklahoma putting Bibles in every classroom?
Texas as well is trying to do that.
Yeah, Texas is trying to do that. While I am a Christian, I vehemently agree with the separation of church and state. I don't agree with that.
Hmm. You don't think that if you provide block grants to these schools, that especially when you consider that there are a subset of Christians that believe that disability is punishment for whatever reason, you don't think that they're going to actually give that money to those? You think they're going to give that money to those children instead of just buying them a Bible and praying for them?
So I don't think the subsets are as numerous as like you might be implying there. Like that's generally not the case. But
And anecdotally, anecdotally, that they are vast, and I can say that they're vast. I don't think you realize how many Christians genuinely believe that disability in children and in adults is punishment.
Yeah, because you did something wrong. Like, what did the baby do?
No, and I mean,
Yeah.
and it's no different than why we have gambling in Louisiana and Oklahoma, but we don't allow it in Texas because
coming.
you know
It's actually coming to Texas.
No, I hope it does. We really need it. But one
We
of the
don't need
biggest
it.
pushbacks you see, no, man, we need that revenue
Why do we need it?
because that's extra revenue. We're sending millions, hundreds of millions of
Do
dollars
you
to
want to know what's
Louisiana and
extra revenue?
Oklahoma.
You know what would be extra
May I
revenue?
oh, sorry.
The devil's lettuce
Legalizing-
too.
Yeah, legalizing that instead of
Yeah.
our AG, Ken Paxton continues to sue like the city of Dallas as they try to attempt to do that.
I don't know if I can say this, but I hate that dude for real.
But he's terrible. Like
Yeah.
we have the worst state reps: Ken Paxton, Corn,
Oh, dude, Cornyn and Cruz are horrible.
So then I don't get why you're a Republican. Like you literally continue to say how much you can't stand them. Like Greg Abbott himself literally will just sit up and lie and say Texas has the best graduation rate, but that literally means nothing. Having a high graduation rate means nothing because we know that these kids are like the standards to like graduate in Texas is so low. Like for you not to graduate in Texas truly means you didn't show up.
No, yeah, no. And anecdotally, like Rap said, I've seen kids that like literally, man, they can't walk and chew bubble gum at the same time, and they've graduated. Like I get it. Like it's.
And that's what he prides himself on. He'll say that, and then he'll say that we have the highest paid teachers. But if you actually see the pay gap between the top coaches, that's who's the quote unquote highest paid, and majority of teachers. That's literally what he likes to like.
No, the top 10 football programs in the state, like their coaches raised the pay level almost across the board. Yeah, no,
what are we
absolutely.
talking about right now? What happened?
We're
What
talking about
happened?
Texas politics. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm truly just confused why you are a Republican because you like clearly
Mustard? That's
know
strange.
you clearly
Mustard is
see the flaws with how like Republican policies affect education and stuff like that. So it's not tracking.
All right. So
No, so
here's the deal. I want to get back to the Department of Education.
for business for me.
Hold
So
on.
that was one of the main things. Sorry, host.
So what I was talking about earlier before we went to Texas is we were talking about the bill that they wanted to pass in the block grants and everything. That's the Returning Education to Our States Act, which is S5384. It's a Senate bill that's being proposed. So it's only been introduced so far. It hasn't been voted on. It is to actually completely shutter the Department of Education and transfer funding for different programs to different agencies throughout the government. All right, but it doesn't mention anything about oversight, and that's what I keep talking about.
Yeah,
all right, we
Trump
cannot
is
allow.
wanting out of oversight. He wants out of oversight completely. Compared to his first term, it was a 2-to-1 oversight. Now it's a 10-to-1.
But here's the thing: we can't allow these things to go on without oversight.
No,
all
no,
right?
I'm agreeing
There
with you
has
on
to
that.
be
That
checks and
needs to happen.
balances.
Yeah, I mean that's what Obama created back in 2010.
Did you vote for
That's when he
Trump?
introduced. No,
I didn't think
I voted
so.
for Kamala.
I
No,
didn't think so.
I'm an independent, but when it comes down to it's facts, and anyone that this is the craziest thing too. I want everyone just to go and like go on Grok or whatever Elon Musk's AI is. If they just type in whatever subject they don't have facts on or proof on, if they just type in whatever the subject area is, it breaks it down to every single thing of fact. It doesn't even bring in the news organizations. It's fact of like reported on government agency websites. It shows all these different things. And that's the thing that kind of bothers me the most is like how so many people, Republicans, just take what they hear on Fox News or whatever, and they take it and spin it. And that's why, you have all these elected officials or people, getting into office because they can just run on these lies and not having any accountability. Department of Education, just as a whole, I don't think should be dismantled and it should be returned to the states because you have to remember then that puts the states in an inadequate spot where it's like, okay, well, you're going to have limit what's taught in one state versus another. I think there needs to be more of an oversight over that department in itself. As I come from a family of teachers, and so in itself, I just think that it's not going to happen. They're not going to dismantle that. There needs to be more oversight and whatnot on it, but there's no accountability with any of the agencies right now because Obama created it, so there was more transparency and there was more oversight, and there were the inspector generals and then like the watchdogs. Trump came into office, said no, we're going to limit that, and he did. And then Joe Biden came back and during the pandemic tried to reopen the transparency, and then Trump has completely just wiped it all away. It's like it's the what's the saying, the F around and find out of just nonsensical BS that Trump is just bringing into office. It just doesn't make sense to me at all. And just I will say this, JD Vance ended up on my bingo card of like hope for once today when that audio was released, basically calling out Elon Musk. And saying,
He
hey,
just
this
Wait, you said JD
Hey.
Vance is hope? That's wild.
Oh no, I'm being sarcastic. He has no hope because he wears too much eyeliner, so that takes over that.
No,
But
he's a literal Klansman.
Well, no, but it was the fact that like he had a backbone for 1 second when he's like, Like I had to listen to the clip where he's like, he's not even an American. He's from South Africa, and I'm just like, wow.
But here's what's interesting about that, and I'm sorry to interrupt you.
He said it because he's a
The
Klansman.
only reason that Vance feels the way he does about Elon is because he wanted that place. He wanted to be the person that was dismantling things. He wanted to be the power broker. That's the only reason he cares.
I actually think that might have been more Vivek Ramaswamy, but I get your point.
Either way,
I mean,
I think
Vivek too.
JD Vance is getting like the side. He gets to basically sit there in some of the meetings, but he's not getting to do what he wanted to do, which was get to have this notoriety and be what I think was going to become the Handmaid's Tale, like the real life Handmaid's Tale. That's what he wanted to have, that notoriety. But as a whole, I just want to say this: I'm going to give it like 60 days before there's some kind of articles of impeachment thrown out there. I'm going to give.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't
I
either.
don't think it's gonna happen.
No.
The Republicans
has
are too much
control.
in his pocket.
Yeah. He has control.
Actually, no, take that.
Democrats can bring it, but it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's nothing. It's just virtue signaling at that point.
Johnson
Like,
already said that he would not bring it to the
A
House
vote.
floor for a vote.
yeah.
He won't do it. So it does not matter.
If anything happens, it'll be after the 26 the 26 midterms.
But
And people are start going campaigning for that soon. But it's like I don't know. I just think that if there's not people that for this next election, I think we'll see more people coming out and running on facts instead of whatever
Well,
else.
the playbook's there for the Democrats, bro. They just have to not fumble the bag. If they actually,
They have to get.
if they
Yeah, I
actually,
agree.
if they actually get a coherent message together, they have a chance. Like I voted for Obama twice. That's my dude. I'd vote for him for a third time. I've been asked a few times because I voted for Trump if I would be okay if he ran for a third term, and I would vote for Obama in that case.
I mean, it's like, there are people who have common sense values, and then there are people who just want to run on lies because they know that they can spin anything because they have, they can go and like Trump did during the 2016 election, which he honed in on, the group of people that felt like they were unheard and stuff like that. So personally, I think that in this next election, we're going to see more people like the Jasmine Crockett's, hopefully, if the Democrats can get their messaging together. Like the what's her name from Michigan?
Nah, dude, the governor of Maryland. If they're serious, that's the guy.
I just think
That's
that
my
they
dog.
The Democrats,
like
I think,
Congress,
need
like-
to actually, in regards to messaging, they need to actually stand up and tell the truth about what's actually happening to people and what Trump is doing. Stop trying to take the moral high road. So take that high ground and stop being so political, because the Republicans aren't political. They aren't. They're playing a game of politics, but in their messaging, they're not. It's just straight to the
Psychological
point,
warfare.
and it's lies, but it's straight to the point, and it's in a way that people can understand.
Yeah, like the
Sounds like
White
someone
House
quick.
press secretary on a daily basis.
Pretty much.
Drill, baby, drill. Lock
And
her up.
I'm not saying
Like-
speaking in like simple shit. Like I'm good grief, I'm cursing. My social media manager is watching. I'm not saying speaking in like those 3-word sentences or whatever. Not like that. Like Trump, although he lies, he just says things like straightforward. He doesn't try to use $10 words. He just says things really straightforward. Like if Democrats were to just come out and say, they are lying to you, and this is how they're lying to you. This is how closing the Department of Education will impact you. All right. This is how Donald Trump deporting thousands, hundreds of thousands of migrants and immigrants will impact you. This is what Donald Trump is doing to naturalized citizens. Like this is what Donald Trump is doing to permanent residents. Like if they just list it out and say this is actually what's happening, instead of like speaking, I call it circle speak, like speaking in circles with people and people having to be like,
It's
so
just a
is it
song
bad
that
or
never
not?
ends. Yeah, it's the
That's
song that
so-
never ends because it keeps going on and on again.
Yeah.
That's
like
that's why Jasmine Crockett is so good at it, because she shoots straight, right?
Yeah.
She has been adamantly clear about how the things that Trump is doing is affecting everyone. And she doesn't she doesn't choose her words carefully. Like she just says what the rest of us are thinking.
Yep.
And that's what makes the Republicans very angry with her and makes Democrats like her.
Yep. I want to get back to it before we have to head out of here. So Emmanuel and is it Boston? Boston, thank you both so much for coming up. We appreciate you both. Chat, if you could, drop some chats. Some chats, I'm tired. Drop some hearts in the chat for Boston and Emmanuel.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, Emmanuel.
Have a good night, guys.
Have a great night. All right. Let me make sure I got the right person. There we go. Okay. And Pancho, take it by your name. You did, but I do want to confirm. Did you vote for Trump?
Yes, ma'am. And
You
I
did.
always will.
You always will. Why is that?
Host, I'm gonna drop and get something to eat. I appreciate it.
All right. Enjoy, Nabra. Thanks for coming back.
Enemies of our country. Why?
I'm sorry, Pancho. Say it again.
I consider Democrats to be the enemies of our country. Hello?
You said the enemies
Where-
of our country. Where are you from?
Our show was about to ask that.
I'm from here. I've been here in Texas since before the Texas Revolution. Before. Okay?
That accent sounds like you were born in Juarez or Sinaloa somewhere.
I am Mexican American.
Yeah, were you you
My
were born here in
uncles-
the United
my
States?
uncles went to World War II. My father was a World War II veteran. I come from a long generation of Texans.
So
South
why do you hate immigrants then?
No, I hate what the Democrats have done to our country and our.
No,
keep
you hate
trying to
immigrants,
do-
bro.
No, ma'am. These
You want to
Democrats
close
are
the door.
It's a program from the EEU and the UU.
You know
All
we
these-
finna hit the highway, right?
All these United
That
Nations
highway.
connections with Obama and all the infiltration, the stealing of the election, that's just to begin with. Okay? You people are awful, man. Trying to defend the people that enslave our freedom fighters, our real freedom fighters. We had no freedom until Trump came in. And it was a miracle that Trump, all you people hate Christians, don't you?
What? I'm sorry. We had no freedoms until Trump came in.
No, we did not.
What freedoms are you? What freedoms didn't we have? Like what freedoms did Trump give us?
And the Democrats that were happening, I was fearful for my life.
No. You
I
have to
was
tell us. You have to
fearful
tell the class
that
what
they
freedoms.
Weaponized.
Poncho, actually, hold on one moment, Poncho. One moment. Hey guys, Rand, I think it's time for a sponsorship commercial because this is getting out of hand. this is getting out of hand. You ready for a sponsorship commercial?
Let's go.
All right, and go.
In the arms of
Hey guys,
the
I want to welcome to you
angel.
this early show on a Sunday night. You know, you could be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with us, and we definitely appreciate you. Now, I'm not sure what's in the air, what's going on. I don't know if it's that Ren and I haven't been, providing a great show tonight, but we want to say that we appreciate y'all. And if you want to support a Black woman creator, by all means, do so. For the low price of $140, that's right, $140, you can support a Black woman creator. All right. Pay links are in the bio. I have a Venmo and a PayPal. Also have a Zelle. Everything with Erica9@gmail.com. Also, you have the ability to support another Black woman creator, Raptured Ren. Ray is the name. Cash App and Venmo. We thank you all so much for all that you do. We can't say thank you enough. All right? Give what you can. If you can't give monetarily, by all means, tap. Why did he leave? Tap the screen. Share it alive. Send a penny gift. We appreciate all that you do. We really do. Thank you for stopping by. All right. If you voted for Donald Trump, go ahead and request up because that guy's skedaddled. All right. Let's see what's this about. Let's see what this is about. There we go. SV, did you vote for Trump?
No.
You didn't?
I,
Okay,
I
love.
was wondering. I was wondering where that Poncho man came from. He was talking a lot of foolishness.
Very
I
much so.
didn't-
That man was not from here, is what he was. He was not. He does not go here.
Who was he referring to? Just got free from what?
I don't know. Trump gave us freedoms, I guess. I don't know.
Oh my God, he was sick. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
And I'm a
Of
unicorn.
course, SB. You have a great night. Thank you for coming up, love.
Uh-huh.
Trump gave us freedom, and I'm a unicorn.
Yes, you are a unicorn, Ren, a rarity.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. If you voted for Donald Trump, by all means, request up. Tap, tap, tap. Oh, what's this here? It's going to be, let's see. Which
Hello.
highway were you talking about, Ren?
Oh, I think if we'd have kept pushing, we were going to go down Transmissio Lane.
Oh, nah, no. He wanted to stick on being weird. HB, did you vote for Trump?
Yeah, he's
a
nigger lover.
Oh, there we go. There's the racism. We've been missing it.
You're so edgy.
that
You're
nigger
so
We've
edgy.
been missing the racism. Oh my God,
Dan
not the
Warren's
racism. Oh my God, not the
He's a
racism.
black fucking nigger. He
No,
loves
there we
booze.
go. Can't believe
He don't
that.
have-
That's crazy. Hand claps for you. Hand
White
claps.
fucking power.
Hand claps. We know. You're doing so well, buddy. You're doing so well.
I
Hope your
know.
mother's proud.
Going
Hope your
back
mother's
to
proud.
Africa,
I
you fat
know.
bitch.
It's crazy. It's just insanity. What's wrong with them, Ren? What's wrong with
I
them?
don't know. They're so edgy.
It's so just come up here. It's just like I'm gonna drop just gonna drop the N-word. Oh my God. I'm gonna say the N-word. They're gonna get so mad at me. I'm gonna say the N-word. Oh my God, not the N-word. Sorry, I grew up in southeastern Virginia. I've heard the N-word a lot. Mhm, there we go. Okay.
I grew up in Illinois, and I heard the N-word a lot.
Like, come
So
on. So original. So original. Anywho.
we got time for one more person.
Yeah, if
they
you
come up.
voted for Donald Trump, by all means, go ahead and request up. Request up so we can have these talks. Doesn't matter. Why'd you vote for him? I just want to know. How are you feeling about all the awful stuff that he's doing? That's what I want to know. How are you feeling about all the awful stuff? I'm gonna go get dressed. I can't. I'm tired. You hear me, Ren?
I don't disagree with you because you only got 10 minutes before you needed to be doing it anyway. So take that extra 10 minutes and
It's springtime and I must bloom.
ain't nothing wrong with it.
That's what it is.
I'm about
Ooh,
to
all
eat dinner.
charged up with love. Yes, all charged up with love. Yeah. So, okay. All right, guys. Well, Ren, you got any final words?
Yeehaw, fuck the law.
And there you go. All right, I'm gonna go outside now. I'm gonna go do a two-step. I'm gonna get my Mary J. Blige on. I can't believe I did that in public. All right. Yeah. So that's what I'm gonna go do. I'm gonna go get my Mary J on, have some fun. I might have alcohol. You never know. All right. So guys, thank you so much for being here. All right, go do something fun. Let's see who's live. Let me see who is live and who shall we go say hi to. All right. Doop doop doop. Nicholas is playing games. Is Hector live or no? I see who's live. Lainey is live. So let's go say hi to Lainey. Yep. Oh, I'm out here. I just saw that. Let's go say hi to Lainey. Defends trans. All right. Let's go say hi to her. All right. Defends trans. Drop some hearts in the chat and say hi to Lainey for us. Say Erica Raid. Let's go do all the good things over there. We appreciate you all so much for being here. And as always, thank you for the love, the support, the encouragement, the engagement. And if you can't do something kind for yourselves, do something kind for somebody else. All right. And with that said, night.